people of kids angry.
Today I read one of the craziest articles I've ever read about the denial, deceit, and delusion around black violence in North Philadelphia and Temple University. Plus, I read one of the most powerful letters from a cop I have ever received. And you guys know we have received a lot of them, and they're always very popular here. So I'm going to squeeze some of this stuff into this video, but we really get into it on my podcast, which is about an hour long. So this will be kind of a good excuse. If you haven't checked out the podcast, today would be a good day. Let's get to this article from Temple. It's written by a third-year student by the name of Tyler Perez, and he's pretty much figured out that everything good old Colin has ever written about Temple University and North Philadelphia being one of the most dangerous, dark, and dirty chocolate neighborhoods in America is just one big fairy tale. And he wants incoming students to know that you don't have to stick on campus. You can just go all over the damn place and enjoy the wonderful world of North Philadelphia just like you're taking a stroll through Mr. Rogers' neighborhood. Headline: New students disregard the false North Philadelphia fears. Dismissing off-campus areas as unsafe promotes an untrue narrative about our neighborhood. Actually, this is a case where the headline writer kind of got ahead of the article, because this guy doesn't really say that North Philadelphia isn't, he doesn't say it's safe. He just says, go out there anyway, because what you're going to hear him do is he said, listen, more important than the safety of the students is, one, the reputation of the university, and two, the reputation of the people who are committing all this crime and violence and those who enable them. Student safety, I don't even know if that's on the list at all, let alone number 3. Why don't we read just a few paragraphs from this article? So he goes on to say how, of course, he's upset that people are telling the freshmen that don't go out off the campus because there's lots of fellas out there. And, well, I really get mad at that. It's deeply detrimental to the perspective of our community. And it reinforces the divide within our community that the student body has created over time, i.e., white kids at Temple are always going off campus and messing with black people. Quote, and then they even got somebody from the Office of Campus Safety Services, which is actually the Temple Police Department, which is the largest police department from any university in the world. Wonder why. Anyway, here's what that person from that department says. It's damaging to our department, it's damaging to the Temple image, and it's damaging to the students. Then, of course, they trot out the usually invisible professors of Africology over there. When anybody's talking about violence in North Philadelphia, the professors have a way of disappearing because they're always telling us that black people are relentless victims of relentless white racism. And when you got a fella in North Philly shooting 6 cops, well, that's pretty hard to wish away. Anyway, so this guy says, we're perpetuating a stereotype that North Philadelphia is crime-ridden because we're surrounded by black and brown faces, says this professor. Oh, yeah, when he says black and brown faces, he means black people. And then he goes, here you go. He hits the jackpot here. I'm not saying there's not crime. Crime is everywhere, said the professor of Africology. That's his version of saying white people do it, too. Then they even got somebody else from the campus police department to go one step further. You know what? I wouldn't want to be Temple lawyers when next time some kid gets bonked over the head, and it happens all the time up there at Temple. I wouldn't want his kid's lawyers to come back and look at this quote from a representative of the police department. Go walk around. This is advice to students. Go walk around. Meet your neighbors. Get some history. See what's going on. Your neighbors here? They all want the same things that we want. They want it safe. They want it clean. They want it well lit. And they want to work together if there's an issue. There's no difference. It's what you would do in any other neighborhood. Then he tells everybody all these great places to visit in North Philadelphia. He mentioned 3. The second one was the Philadelphia Doll Museum. If you never go over this line of demarcation, you'll never know what's over there. Then they just kind of go on and on and on about what a great place North Philadelphia is. how people like Colin are very bad people. If they kind of notice that it's a very, very nasty place, if people like Colin who keep files on this stuff, who do videos on this, I must have done at least 25 videos and stories about what a nasty place Temple is and how so many people up there are so indifferent to it. Why don't we just play one story since we're a little crunched for time? You guys have to remember that story where 200 fellas and lovely ladies rampaged through Temple University and putting 6 white kids in the hospital. Now, I'd actually forgotten one thing till I saw this clip. I had forgotten that this stuff was happening over a 2 or 3 week period.
A vicious attack on college students caught on camera. Crazed teens rushed these Temple University students in Philadelphia. Mob-style attacks happening across campus, leaving at least 6 students beaten and bloodied. Police say more than 150 teens have wreaked havoc across campus for nearly 2 weeks now. They took 50 people into custody, charging 4 of them with various crimes.
I mean, how many of these stories do you want? That's how many we have. We get into this in the podcast a lot more. But almost as if it was meant to happen. The very same day I read this, I got a letter from a cop. Now, this is a cop who's a member of a multi-generational police family. So the guy's uncle was a cop, then he came up and joined the same force. So the biggest, baddest guy in this town, a fella, the most psychotic criminal, violent criminal in town, was a guy they called Johnny. And this is west of the Mississippi. Anyway, so Johnny had lots and lots of experiences with this guy's uncle. Then he had lots and lots of direct experiences with the cop. Now they're both retired. They're both about the same age. The cop sat down with Johnny and they had a nice long conversation and they transcribed it. We read the conversation on my podcast. But it's almost like this fella, Johnny, the psychotic criminal, he was kind of reminding everybody at Temple what they are, the place where they really are, giving us lots of reality about what the fellas are like, and not giving us this fairy tale about how you can just go tiptoeing through the tulips in North Philadelphia, and if you see a random black person, you just go up to him and say, "Hello, random black person. I'm a student at Temple. Can we be friends?"
Please, sir. I want some more.
What? Can I come to your house for barbecue tonight? That really doesn't work out because he'll tell you the fellas are not really into white people that much. Anyway, I hope you get a chance to check out that podcast. I hope you get a chance. Look at the headline so you can find this article. It's easy to find just by searching for it. It's just amazing the level of denial, deceit, and delusion. But see that, denial, deceit, delusion is one thing. But this is an article. If people take this article seriously, that's like going to be a death warrant for some kids up there. That neighborhood's no joke. I don't know who that junior is. Tyler Perez. That kid's dangerous. Come to think of it, that doesn't ever seem to make the black kids angry.
Don't make the black kids angry.